Interest rates are going up. Trying to get ahead is mighty, mighty tough. Bill collectors at my door. I need someone to help me raise my credit score.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Polto Show. And when I say a special edition, many of you know me as the person that says it like it is and the person that fights for your rights. Well, tonight you're going to see who I really am on both sides. And the reason why I'm saying this, we have many disasters in our cities, our states, and our country. And these disasters, people aren't putting it all together. First of all, I want to take a few minutes before I even start what I have to say to let you know how the holidays affect some people that are brought into your life, and some people are brought into your life for a reason. And I am really, truly blessed this year for the few that have made contacts with me. And for the few of those, the contacts will last a lifetime with me. Many of you know that I'm always saying I'm on a mission. And the mission never ends because it doesn't come to an end of what my mission is. The mission's not completed. And because it's not completed, I do believe that after all the hard work that I've been doing for the people across the United States, God sees it and puts people into my life. And that person that he put into my life, there's a few. Well, one I'm going to say, Ron Homer, he's my producer. He's there for a reason. Another person I'm going to say he put into my life was a person that I just did a show on. Her name was Josie Brenton. And let me tell you something. Not only she was brought into my life, but this is a person with the same mission I was on, with the same heart and soul that I have. And our mission is to teach as many people out there as possible the meaning of the word love, not hate. She's taught me, I'm a credit expert worldwide, but she's taught me certain points as well. And the meanings of the sentences that she has taught me, and many out there know I'm bold, I'm daring, I say it like it is. But when I listen to people when they say something to me, and that one sentence touched me, and here's the sentence, that your credit score, now how many times do we talk about credit scores? Well, when she said to me that a credit score does not define the person. Josie, in all of her years, I'm the credit expert, but I was not looking at the points she brought up. And Josie and I now are teaching each other for you, the world, to hear us loud and clear with the help of another person. And that person's going to be on here January 2nd. That's Burl Walk. And it's like God's putting everybody together. So they always say, is this a coincidence? Well, in Burl Walk's office, it says there's no coincidences. God is remaining anonymous. Well, God, we hear you loud and clear. And I mentioned during her show, when I had Josie on, go back to her show, watch the whole entire show, because when I do shows, sometimes I just do it out of the clear of what comes out of my mouth. I mentioned Brian's song, and I'm going to quote it today. The end of that Brian movie. I want the world to know me and Josie Branding, and I want to know that we are helping everyone out there because we're joining forces into helping your life. Me with my credit, helping everybody out there, gaining the knowledge that they have to get out of the situation in 2013. And Josie with her music and teachings. And what we're doing is we're going to combine all this. And we're not going to call it Brian's song. We're going to call it the Freedom Song of Love. Because this is what we're giving. And we're giving this because of what's happening in this country. As we sit back and we think about what happened, we have to really seriously think about what happened in this country. There's bigger stories than the children. Now, to get to the children, I did some homework on this because a lot of people out there were upset. A lot of people out there were angry with God. And a lot of people out there were angry with Jesus. And a lot of people out there said, why? Why did he take our children? This is a teaching too. But we're not getting it. Now think about this. What was the hurricane in New Jersey? Sandy. And what was the school? Sandy. Why aren't we getting it? You know, although, let me read something that I put together, and I think it'll make sense to you. The first half is going to be on this dedication. The second half will be on credit that'll maybe surprise you. But although we're all sinners, we all bound to ask God, why did he allow a child to die? We're all bound to rage against the death of those near to us, especially when they're children. Death is the enemy to be destroyed. Death enters into the world through the disobedience of our first parents. It's very extreme. Reminds me of that. In other words, imagine what it would be like to live forever in this fallen world. Just imagine. Death is the escape of what would be otherwise be an endless cycle of suffering. And many out there are suffering. Does God take children to become angels in heaven? One reason why God would not take children from this earth to become angels. Is it because they would run contrary to his purpose for children? In the Garden of Eden, God told Adam and Eve, be fruitful and become many and fill the earth and subdue it. Children are gifts of God and are essential to his purpose of fulfilling the earth. So why would God take away somebody else's child from his parents in order to make his own family bigger? Then the God that we know would never do this. But in the Bible it says, children are gifts from God, and he would never take back this gift that he has given to the parents out there. So why would he take some children and not others? Maybe he rescues them to heaven before their heart hardens against him, or under the influence of the world, or rescues them from a life of pain and trauma, which is coming that their parents don't see, that they can't even see the impossible. And then we say about our own children, because it's a child who committed this crime, this horrible crime. So what is the age of accountability? Some will say that it's the age when children become accountable for their actions. But even the Bible doesn't even mention that age. God has shown the parents that God loves your child and has elected him or her for salvation. For the help of these questions, let's turn to the Bible. Let's turn. And many of you don't even know what it looks like. But let's look at the events that surrounded the birth of Christ. It's a Christmas story that you never even heard of, probably. The three wise men, did you know, had to ask by the king at that time to find the Christ child and report back to his whereabouts. The king's plan was to kill the infant king and keep the family throne. Well, the three wise men were warned in a dream to return home secretly without reporting to King Herod. And it reads in the Bible, when Herod saw that he was tricked by the wise men, he sent and killed all of the children in around Bethlehem, 2 years old and under. A voice was heard crying through the night. Those parents who are angry at God right now, and those parents who do not understand, they turn to God. They turn to the love of God in this cruel world that has little meaning, that you grieve. It's also bitterness. It's also anger, and it's depression. And some of you will remain lost without hope for many years. But if those of you that are in that much pain at this moment, turn to Jesus and offer him your true cry of pain, and then you're going to hear the voice of God speaking to you. And what's he going to say? He's going to say to you, I had a child too. He too was innocent. There was no sin in him. His name was Jesus, and he died a terrible death at the hands of even men. But I even knew about this long before it happened, and yet I allowed it to happen. I even caused it to happen because I love you so much. And that I would do. I would lose an innocent child so I could answer your cries and prayers to make it stop hurting. Remember, your child is alive today, And he's calling you to come to you or your sorrows and grief. And God will give you the rest of your soul. Jesus keeps his promise, and yet he promised, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall find comfort. How many out there are praying, or how many out there are saying, I don't like what he did. I'll never believe, I'll never go back to the church again. So the parents that are saddened, God answers your questions. Why do children have to die? If we understand the true nature of our cry, he does take away our sorrow and tears and heals our broken heart. He does it because he loves us, and he lost his innocent child also. So he knew it ahead of time, and he did it anyway. So you know what? You have to pray, and you have to take a moment of the innocent child and the innocent children that did die. They didn't die in vain, because you turned to Christ as your healer and savior, and your grief. They healed you, and they have come to know the love of God in a much deeper way. Like Jesus, another innocent child died, that you may find the love of God in a different way. When I put this show together, I looked at the whole thing, and I hear it all the time, the kids that have cancer, the people that have cancer. And I say to myself, and I hear people, I hear parents, and I hear them saying, I'll never go back to the church again. He killed my child. God didn't kill your child. And then you hear it on the news. You hear the gun control. You hear, let's take the guns away. Wow, they're pacifying everybody out there. People, wake up. Wake up. As a consumer advocate myself, I could see beyond the fields. It's not the guns. If they take away the guns, all they're doing is pacifying the people. If this child did not have a gun, he could have had a knife. What are we going to take away? All the knives in the world? What I'm getting at is there's not enough love in this country. There's not enough love in these households. And I'm guilty of it myself, because people had to come in my life. People had to come in my life to show me the meaning of the word, even love. And, you know, you teach, you try to teach, and I do believe God came in my life and brought some people in my life. And he brought many people in my life, but mainly one person. And that person is Josie Bratton. Why? She has talents. I have talents. We're on the same page. We got a connection ungodly. Godly is the word, not ungodly, godly. I mean, if she watched this, she would probably say, uh-oh, she's putting a negative. But she's right. She's right. And certain things with my clients hear me say all the time. And many of you hear me say this all the time to every client out there that's watching. And I think you know it. You hear me say, you know what? You're either going to love me or hate me. And I love it because, and that's what I say to you, and you know it. You're either going to love me or hate me. It's because I'm the miracle worker or I'm not the miracle worker. But Josie let me see something else. So I do believe that people puts people in your lives. It could be across the country, but they're in your life for a reason. They're in your life for a reason. It could have been an animal, it could have been another human being, but it was a person. So God is connecting the dots right now. And Josie said to me, don't say to your clients, you're either going to love me or hate me. You say to them, you're either going to love me or you're going to love me. Well, you know, I tried it and it works. It works because people forgot the meaning of the word. And many of even my personal people, acquaintances that I know, they never hear me say the word love. I don't say it. Many households don't say it, and many households do say it. But it's a word that's used too freely. And this is what's happening today. It's happening with everybody around us. Because do we really know what we're talking about? Do we really know the meaning of the word loving, caring? So, and sometimes, like when I did her show, I talked about Brian's song. Don't know why, just did. And yet when I talked about it, I knew and talked about an unconditional love. And I said, why is God bringing people in my life now when we most need it? People are losing their homes. They're losing their cars. They're losing everything about them. Mentally, physically, they're committing suicide. you get a divorce, what happens? Half of it you're splitting again everything, and it's hate, it's grief, it's depression. But we are forgetting the main source that why we're here and how we can start over. And I never knew there was two people like me in this world. Well, there's two people like me in this world. And how would you like to have two people like me in this world joining forces? Well, not just one. We combined it with three. Because a person, as Burl Walk always says, there's no coincidences. God's just remaining anonymous. And when I sat in his office and read this sign, I had to take a deeper look of the people that's in my life, why they're in my life, who should be in my life, and who should not be in my life. And everybody out there that's rushing. So you sit here during the holidays. You have to go shopping. You have to do your Christmas tree. You have to buy this. You have to do this. You have to do everything to get this tree ready. For what? One day, then it's over? But if you sit back and look at what it's supposed to mean, the whole meeting is supposed to be, we're bringing Christ into this world. Does anybody see this? No, we're too busy with you could have two people walking down the street, and two people are texting one another as they're standing beside one another because they can't communicate. And my eyes are opening up more and more because I'm seeing this. And God is allowing me to see all this for a reason. He's allowing me to see and saying, Pearl, I'm going to not only teach you love, but I'm going to show you love, and I'm going to have you conquer the world with certain people in your life. And these people in my life are there for eternity. Eternity. Because people can't talk today. Well, we're going to teach you. And I know what Josie has taught me, but I know she's going to, with my instructions, with her instructions, and conquering it together, we're going to change. We hope to change. And here's what our accomplishments will be. We hope to change not the whole world. We want to change the whole world, but we know nothing's impossible today. But if we change your sight of mine as it did mine, then you will change one other person. And that one other person will change another person. And by the time we're done, we have the whole world. And when we have the whole world, we can sit back and we can say, we did it. Our mission is over. And I can't say for all these years, my mission was over, because I was always on a mission and I was always fighting for your rights. The mission has to be over soon. And the only way we can make it over soon is not correcting your credit. That's what I do. Josie puts music out. That's what she does. Somebody in your life may be doing something else. That's what he's doing good in his life. The mortgage guy, my attorney, everyone that's a field, if they do it for the right reasons. And one person said to me the other day, and that person was Burl Walk. And I can't wait to have him on as a guest on my show. And you will see him January 2nd. But what he said to me is, as I sat across from him, he said, Pearl, you work the way I worked. He said, you work for the people. Money will come with it. And if you work for the people, for the love of this country, it'll all come back. And he said, when it all comes back, we just join forces. So he puts everybody together to join these forces. And then when I sat there and said, I have this person I want you to see. And his answer to me was the same answer I gave to Josie when she was on my show. He said to me, I can't believe it. You're putting somebody else first, and that's what I would do. But that's what I've always done. That's what Josie does. So she's out selling records, CDs. And as I said, if you listen to that show again, and please watch that show again, because I believe everything was meant to be, even with that show, predicting what's going to happen. When that show aired, we didn't know about Connecticut. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know anything that was going to happen. And yet, the mold was starting to build. We were building something, and we didn't even know it. So this is how powerful God is. And you know, there's two things I never talk about: politics or religion. Tonight's a special show because it's gone a little bit too far. To me, it's gone a little bit too far when I see the country. It breaks me apart when I see what's happening in this country. I'm only one person. But they always say, you put an army together and it's going to be hard to fight an army. Well, this is what I think we're doing right now. This is what I feel we're doing. I think this is why God is putting all this together, because he's putting this army together. He's putting it through me, helping you with your credit. He's putting you through my books, my education, my educating you the right things in life to do. And he's educating you and putting all this little army together, Josie, with her music, and also with her corporations when it comes to divorces, helping people. I've been there, I've done it. Well, she's going to tell you to help you. So what do? We have this army. But we needed the leaders. Who's the leaders? By coincidences again, there's no coincidences. Burl Walk comes into our life and says, I'm going to make it happen. I want to make this happen for all of you. I want to make this happen for you, Pearl. I want to make this happen for Josie. And I want to make this happen because two of you are going to make it happen worldwide. So if you're sitting there in front of you're sitting right now in your living room, and you have to go shopping tomorrow for gifts, and you're saying, well, what should I buy Johnny? What should I buy Mike? What should I buy him? Should I get him the CD? What should I get him? These are material things. They're going to come and go. But what they're going to remember is what you've done. What they're going to remember. Remember when you were a child? What did you remember? What did you remember? You didn't remember material things. You remembered everything that the heart, everything that was so delicate to you, and everything that was so important to you that you thought wasn't important back then. Material things will come and go. And half the times you don't even think that you even had them. Why? It's called selfishness. And we are and were selfish kids. So what happened? We raise kids and we say, we want the best for them. We want them to have what we didn't have. How many parents out there say it every day? We want them to have what we don't have. You know what? No. I don't want them to have what I didn't have. I want them to have what I did have. I want them to wake up and see slippers or slinkies and appreciate those little material things that aren't material. I want them to say, hey, I remember when we went to church on that Sunday, no matter what religion you are. I remember us sitting there at a dinner table and they're making homemade food. I remember that. You're not going to remember material things. You're not going to remember the bike. You're not going to remember the CD player. You're not going to remember any of that. And if anybody else there says you do remember it, you're lying. So to go back to the days that you were, I'd go back in a second. I would go back and trade my whole life in for a second. Because when you lose people in your life, we did a show on that last week, Where is Heaven? Many people are hurting, and I know that many people are hurting, but then you have to listen. Your ear has to listen to say, what does God want from me now? What does God want from me? And I know I've been, especially me, losing my mother, losing my best friend, but now I say, hey, you know what? They're all talking up there. They are all talking up there, and they're making things happen on this earth. And who's making them, pushing it, is God. So no one's listening to God. He's not even allowed in the schools. So how can they listen to him? So what he's doing is he's saying the same thing I'm saying. Wake up, world. What do I have to do? Cause you another hurricane that's called Sandy? Kill more children who I love and call it Sandy? Talk about a coincidence. The title of the school is called Sandy, and the hurricane in New Jersey is called Sandy. These are all coincidences, or do we have to sit back and we're never going to learn. You've never heard in all my years, in all my seminars, you've never heard me talk like this. And you probably never will again, because I only talk once. And if you don't listen, it's on you, because at least I'm doing what's right. And God forbid, if I should die tomorrow, I did what's right. And not only did what's right, I put the right people in my life. And those right people will always remember me. As I said on one of my shows, don't remember me from what I do. Don't remember me because I'm an author. Don't remember me because I'm a paralegal. Don't remember me because I'm a singer. Remember me for trying to help you out with a crisis. And it does work, because last night, an example, as I said, we had a problem in the city of Philadelphia with the accidents that happened, and I tried to make the community just put a simple stop sign. And it was tough, and it was hard. And I said I had all the firemen and policemen in back of me. But it worked. It worked when the congressman, the city, calls me and says, Pearl, you made a difference. And I said, no, I'm going to thank this one. I'm going to thank the police. And they said, no, thank yourself. You made it happen. It just takes one person to change the world, or to change a street, or to change the community. And last night, it hit home, because one of my neighbors called me and said, I had to call you late at night because there's a policeman that just gave out 6 tickets. I said, what? 6 tickets. There's a stop sign there, Pearl, because you put that stop sign there. I didn't put the stop sign there because I had it. I wanted to help the people. But that one policeman that wrote 6 tickets could have been 6 more accidents. So he laughed over it. My neighbor laughed over it, and he said, it's happening, Pearl. We made it happen. I said, we all made it happen. I didn't make it happen. We all made it happen. Signing petitions, making things work. And we did. And that's just a little icing on the cake. A stop sign is an icing on the cake. Because when it comes to what I'm hearing, even what I'm hearing today, that teachers are going to be wearing guns to school. Where are we going? Where are we going with this? We're not going into a world of church. We're not going into crisis life. We're going into the world of the hillbilly days where we're shooting one another. And what is that teacher going to do when one of those kids puts a hand in a pocket? Is she going to kill this children by accident? What is she going to do? Is she going to kill another teacher by accident because they're all allowed to carry guns? What is the news? What is the news? Where is the news bringing us? Are they running out of news that we have to hear this over and over again? Do we get another copycat? Well, if there's any more copycats out there, you better start praying, because we're not going to take it no more. We are forming our little army. It's a small army right now. Let me tell you, people, it's a small army. It's only 3 of us. It's me, it's Josie, God, make her happen, and it's Burl, make him happen. And that small army is going to turn into millions. And that small army is going to turn into everyone out there rethinking. And I'm saying this before the holiday because we all have to think and rethink what this holiday is all about, and what these killings are all about, and what these parents are, everybody carrying guns. We all have to actually see what our part is. My mission now is to teach you what your mission is. And all I'm asking you to do is hear me. As I always say, as you always know, don't just hear me, listen. This time, listen. And it's not on a credit education. It's not saying, because credit's a cold word, as I hear an echo in my head from Josie saying, nope, use the right words. So you're never too old to learn. You know, you're never too young to even get advice from people. And I think the people out there, when you start, if you haven't done your Christmas shopping yet, buy somebody a Bible. Buy somebody a Bible. And then let's see what they say. Let's see how they walk away. If they walk away, you tried. You did your best. Somebody bought me a Bible one time, and that person was Vanessa Mitchell. And she was the one of the singers of High Energy, and her mother passed away. And the reason why she passed, and she's a part of that little circle. She's in Georgia, but she's a part of that little circle. Because one day, when she said to me, Pearl, my mom died, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm depressed, and I don't want to go anywhere. And I didn't even know her. I'm done. I'm depressed. I don't want to go anywhere because my mom died. And we talked, and we talked. And my mother was still alive at that time. But I said one thing to her, one little simple sentence. And out of that simple sentence, she said to me, my mom's back. And I said, what are you talking about? Your mom's back. She said, that's what my mom would have said. So it's interesting what one little word of caring, one little word of love can do to another person. Today, I experienced something too. And I got the chills. When I came to the studio, I had to tell my producer, Ron, because it did give me the chills, and I'm sure she's watching out there. We had a broadcast pioneer. We had a tribute to Dick Clark today. I didn't stay. But when I went in the room, this one person came up to me. And we had to wear our name tags. And she said, your name's Pearl. And I said, yes, it is. She said, I watch your show. She said, but my name's Pearl too. I said, good for you. Not that many people are named Pearl today. She said, but I didn't come over here to ask you what your name was. I already knew who you were. She said, but I came over here to let you know something. She said, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a talk show host. I'm an author. I went on and on. I said, what do you do? She said, I'm a disc jockey and a talk show host on a station. She said, but I didn't want to come over here to talk to you about that. She said, I come over here because there's hundreds of people in this room and you're the only one. You got a whole light around you. I said, a what around me? She said, a light. And it's shining. I said, are you for real? And she said, it's not a karma you have around you. You have a light. It's a light, like there's all these angels around you. I said, you see this? But the purpose, the reason why I went there was not to waste money, which I did, but the purpose was to support somebody. And that was it. After that, I left. But she knew it. And she said, wherever you got to go today, whatever you have to say, you're going to affect people. And I said, I have a show to do tonight. I'm going to do my darndest to get a message across. So those of you that see me as a credit expert, as an author, you see another side of me. You see a harsh side of me. You see a strong side of me. And sometimes you see a bold side of me. And sometimes you don't even like what you say. But you know what? Tonight you're going to see a softer side of me, which you never expected. No, I don't talk to the bill collectors like this. Wait till you see the second part of the show. But the part is, my gift to you is the first part of this show. My gift to you. I just hope and pray, and I will hope and pray that all of you will follow and join our army. And all I want you to do, email me and tell me how it changed your life. Please, I want to know. And I want to know is because I have this big picture that I want to give to someone out there. It's a picture of a guardian angel and two kids on a bridge. I want to give this to someone. So I want you to email me and tell me how this night affected you. How do you think you're going to change? And just one little inch of changing, or one other person that you're going to tell. That's all I'm asking of you. Tell one other person. Let's build this army up. Let's build the army up where we're so huge. We're so huge that the hate in the world will not happen. I'm always saying when somebody dies, I'm saddened by this. Well, you know what? Now I'm frustrated. Now I'm getting angry myself because I'm frustrated. Because we haven't learned. So if I'm frustrated, what do you think God feels? What do you think Jesus feels by saying, what did I do? Die in vain? I'm on a cross, and I'm dying because of everybody out here, and everybody don't care. Think about it. So I'm not asking you to turn religious. I'm not asking you to turn holy. I'm not asking you to do any of that. What I'm asking you to do is let's build an army of love. And if that's the song that we have to do, the freedom of love, and not Brian's song anymore, this is what I think is going to happen. This has to happen. And that's my half hour of what we should be doing. When we come back from the commercial, you are going to see the other side of me, the side that you always see. We'll be right back.
There's nothing more disruptive and annoying than getting an automated call to your cell phone. There are laws against companies using computers or recorded messages to call you on your cell phone without your permission. This is consumer protection attorney Carrie Flitter. You've heard me as a guest on the Polto show. There are consumer laws in place that prohibit many of the unwanted calls to your cell phone. If you're receiving unwanted or unauthorized calls, whether collection, selling products or services, or otherwise, you may be entitled to have these calls stopped and to collect money damages that the law provides. If you're getting unwanted or pre-recorded calls to your cell phone, contact us, the Consumer Protection Lawyers at Flitter Lorenz, at 888-668-1225. That's 888-668-1225, or online at consumerslaw.com. That's consumers with an S, consumerslaw.com. If we accept your case, the bad guys pay our bill.
Welcome back to the Polto show. Today's a special show today, and let me give you what's happening next week. We do have an astrology on next week, an astrologist from Australia, Julian. She will be here next week. We have a lot of great shows. If you do wish to become a guest on the Polto show, what I would like you to do, if I can find it, you go to ronhomer@gmail.com. We've already gotten some emails of who wants to become guest. We're going to take all this into consideration, Ron and I. Ron with two N's, RONNHOMER @gmail.com. So if you wish to become a guest on the Polto show, I would love it. We're going to sit down. We're going to see the good shows, the right shows, and what's going to actually educate you. And if you wish to become a sponsor of the Polto show, as you see Carrie Flitter, Carrie has already contacted me on something else that's very alarming and upsetting. But if you wish to become a sponsor of the Polto show worldwide, you contact the same person, RONN, Ron Homer, RONN @gmail.com. Carrie Flitter, you often hear, I'm embedded in my head when I hear the sentence, a credit score doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't. And yet everybody out there, what do they say to me? What's my credit score? I heard it all day today. What's my credit score? You know what? She's right. She's right. I'm saying it wrong. A credit score does not define who you are. Just like blood pressure doesn't define who you are. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So just because somebody, like, let me give you an example. Today I was on the phone with an attorney of the person that I said passed away, which was my client. He's on the phone saying, well, these bill collectors are calling. I'm going to pay them. Well, I'm here yelling at an attorney today because I'm saying, why are you paying? His poor mother needs the money. So why are you paying all this? Because you're uneducated. So, and here I'm a paralegal, but it has nothing to do with it. He knew who I was. I didn't care that I yelled at him. I didn't care that I yelled at him because it's teaching somebody else as well. But this came from, if anybody out there receives, if you get a phone call, or if you get it into the mail, please listen to this and take this seriously. If you get a letter in the mail that says that there's a class action case and there's an attorney with a settlement, well, let me tell you something. It's a scam. The company is called Hake and Landau. It's a fraud law firm. It's a fraud. And what they're doing, they're trying to get information from you. Yeah, you heard me. Trying to get information from you and saying the other company is Oxford Law. And if you think you heard this, Oxford Law, that you receive a letter or a phone call and they call you from all over the country and they say you're entitled, way back, you're entitled to a class action case, it's a scam, people. And it's an attorney's firm that they're using, that they're saying they're from an attorney's firm, just to get the information. And Carrie said to me, make sure you get this word out, Pearl, because so many people talk about identity theft. Today, we have more identity theft than we've ever seen happen in this country. In all my years, I've never seen so much. We have robot calls, people calling you on your cell phone. We have people calling from other countries to say, push button 1, push button 2. You want to lower your credit cards to 0%? Of course you do. So what do? Push button 1, you lower it. A live person comes on the phone. As that live person comes on the phone, what do they say to you? They say, well, give us all your credit card numbers and we're going to lower it to 0%. Don't do it. It's a scam. It's a scam. We're living in an era where everything's possible with these scam artists as well. I always say nothing's impossible, but nothing's impossible with them either. When you close up one, they find something else. And some are coming from overseas. And our country can't do anything about it. They just have to protect and give us your rights. And they're not even giving you your rights. I am. As a consumer advocate, I have to tell you what's right, what's wrong. December is the month where all the bill collectors not only harass you, but they have to make a quota. And that quota is they will do anything possible. Now, why do they have to make their quota? Is because they can get fired. They can actually get fired. January 1st. They don't have a job. So they're going to do everything in their power. One has nothing to do with the other. If you have, let's say you have all good credit, and you have all good credit and you're still getting harassed and you're saying, I better pay them because I have all good credit. No, they can harass you to the day you die because that's what their job is. You can have all good credit and you won't even know it. It's all in the education, and this is what we are working on right now. I am working on right now to update one of my seminars. And I'm going to update it, and I'm going to be giving it to Burl as well to put it on his website. We're going to be doing a complete update on a new version of a seminar credit from bill collectors all the way down. Because the biggest problem that I hear today was when a consumer calls me and says, I want to pick your brain, Pearl. And I say, go ahead. I don't care. Or I need some advice on this. Or I need this because I don't know what to do. And if they pick the phone up with their attorney, the attorney's either going to charge them or they're not going to. It's not that they're going to give them wrong advice. As I said to this attorney today, I said, it's not that I'm against you because you're giving people wrong advice. I'm against because you don't know, so I can't put the blame on you, and I won't. I told him to give me his card because I want to educate him. I'll send him a complimentary copy of my book. But he's the attorney. I'm not. And it frustrates me because people think today their doctors, their attorneys are God. And, doctors aren't God either. The only one that could save your life or save anything is God. So, you're praying to the wrong people or you're going to the wrong people. I want to make 2013, I want to make a big dent in the mortgage business. And I can't make it to the mortgage companies because they've already had their download. They're going out of business, so many of them. What I can make it in your life is to help as many people as possible. I don't overcharge people and never will. And sometimes it's complimentary, depending on the situation, because I hear it all the time. And sometimes it's sad. Like today, I received a call from a doctor from Chicago. And he's talking real low. And he said, remember me? I met you in Chicago. You did a seminar here. And I'm saying, yeah, but how come you're speaking so low? I have another problem. And after I heard his problem, I said, you know what? It's sad because he was embarrassed. Here's a doctor. I can understand. He's embarrassed. But years ago, when I used to do a seminar, 1 out of 100 people had credit problems. Now today, 1 out of 2 people has credit problems. 1 out of 2 people. So, and you're not in this by yourself, the whole world. And you're saying, well, I'm not the whole world. I don't care. I'm losing my home. I don't care. And that's what you tell me. So you either take it out on me or you're hostile to me as if I'm the bank, and I'm not. I'm out to help you. But sometimes, it frustrates me. So I have to appreciate the people out there. I have to appreciate the people out there to say, you know what, Pearl, thank God for you. And I do get these calls too. Thank God for you, because if it wasn't for you, I would have lost everything. And I always say, it's you that makes me go on. It's you that makes me go on, and it will go on. But now I feel a little bit better because my mission that I've been on for years eventually is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger into that army. People that are divorced. If you're divorced out there and saying, she's talking about me. Well, if I'm talking about you, then I'm going to say, I can't take you to the water. Drink it. Drink it. Now I'm going to force you to drink it. It's not poison. But I will say, and all I want you to do is that one client that said to me, I'm going to pick your brain. Well, pick my brain. Or can you talk? Of course I can talk. Because no one else wants to listen? Of course I am. I know the problems. I'm a credit expert. If you were a doctor, if you were a surgeon, you want to save a person's life. Well, so do I. But you can only do so much. In this economy, it's getting worse. And I don't blame it on the people. I blame it on our government. I blame it on Washington. I blame it on the banks. I blame it on the scam artists out there that tried to get one over, tried to take advantage of the people with the modifications, trying to save their home. I blame it on, and when one scam is caught, another one comes up. Another scam comes up. So what I need for you to do, I need for you tonight. I need for you starting tonight. If you have a credit problem, if you went to my website, I'm running a special. And yes, I'm only running it to January 1st because I want to see how many people out there really, really care about what's going on with them. I always say to people, when you talk to people, you can tell them about your life history. You could tell them about anything, and some will say, okay, and then go on with themselves. Because people aren't real today in today's world, and this is why we have all the violence. This is why we have the guns. This is why we have a lot of hostility in this world and depression. People are so into themselves, they're not thinking of the next person. Would you go into a burning building to save someone? Answer that. Would you go into a burning building to save someone? And if that answer is no, well, there you go. Then you're more worried about you. So reevaluate your life and see where you're coming from, because would I? Yes, I would. I would go into a burning building. There was a car accident in front of my house, and it was an 80-year-old woman, and you heard a big bang, and I pulled her out of the car. Naturally, people don't remember. I think people don't remember, but people does remember. She knocked on my door, bouquet of flowers, and she said, "This is for you." I said, "For what?" She said, "Because you pulled me out of the car." Now, anybody else said, "Don't go up to the car. The car could blow up." Well, you know what? But put in your head you have nothing to lose. If you put into your head with credit, you have nothing to lose. What do you have to lose? To start from scratch and work your way up? Because that's what's going to happen. Is that the toughest thing for you? To start over and then make things happen again? Because they're only going to get better. So what is the worst thing to happen that you lost? Not that you lost your car. You can get another one. Not that you lost your home. You can get another one. The worst thing in my life is when you lose people that you don't show them you care, that you don't show them you love them enough. And if that's the case where everything is important to you, well, then you know what? So be it. Because there's karma as well. There's karma as well. But if you're living a life even with your money, money will come and money will go. And I've always said this when it comes to credit. Credit cards. The banks, I used to say to the banks, you're not going to be in business in 10 years from now. I knew which banks would not be in business. It's not that I have everything up here. I've been through it all. I've done it. I've seen it. I've done everything. And if you say, well, she's the credit expert, she don't understand. I do understand. I was there with you. Everything I talk about at seminars, I've been there and through, back, and then back again, rebuilding. I could tell you stories that I've never told anyone, and I won't. Why? You don't want to hear my personal life. But the thing is, you can make things happen, and nothing is impossible. Nothing. Not even your credit. And what I'm asking everybody out there today is I want you to pick up the phone and you call 1-800-876-CREDIT. You'll get my voicemail naturally. If you want a live person, 1-866-61-PEARL. You'll get a live operator. And she'll say, credit hotline. And you say, I want to talk to Pearl. Leave your name, leave your number. They will get to me that quick. They will get to me. If they don't get to me that quick, they fax it to me. And then you're going to say, wow, you're quick. I have to be. I have an expression too. As fast as you are, I'm faster. And then the other answer that everybody says to me is, well, how long does it take to clear credit? Minimum is 30 days. I don't guarantee, I don't promise people the world, but I do guarantee I don't stop until it's done. And it's not just credit. I do it all. I mean, when you're my client, I do it all. I do credit. If you're getting harassed by bill collectors, we will definitely stop them because I'm on a mission to put them all out of business. And as I'm doing that, then if you want your mortgage, then we have a mortgage guy. And I'm very strict with him. I am so strict, but I'm stricter with the clients. And last night, my mortgage person that I deal with, he's the president. And I asked him to call up a client of mine. I didn't care how late it was. I said, call him up. It's business. And he texted me with a little humor. He said, I called your client up in New York. And I said to them, I have to pull a copy of the credit report. And this woman said to me, Pearl, boy, do you teach them well. This woman said to me, well, if you pull a copy of my credit report, Pearl's going to kick my ass. And then after she kicks my ass, we're both going to kick yours. And he laughed and he roared. And I said, you're right, I would, because I'm so against it. Why? Because your credit score, as Josie used to say to me, doesn't define who you are, because your credit score could go up and it could go down. And people are so into, what did we do before credit scores? We had Social Security numbers. What did we do? We had Social Security numbers. And that's what you went by. When you filled out an application, they called up your job. They can't call up your job anymore. It's too many millions of people in the world. So they have to go by what is called a point system. If you have good credit, they still go by what is called a point system. The point system is how long this. They just go by what you're saying. That's when I did a show one time. I applied for the credit card. The dog applied for a credit card. Well, guess what? I lied. The dog told the truth. The dog got the credit card. Think about it. I lied. The dog got the credit card. And we did this on national TV. I still have a tape on that. I still have a tape on it where it's the education. It goes back to the education. I am hoping and praying that the shows I have on the Pearl Polto Show will educate you for a lifetime. Please just don't watch them. You know, refer your friends, tell your friends. And please, when you're doing something, starting tomorrow, starting tonight, starting today, remember what I'm saying and think about it when you're in the store buying a gift make it personal. Make it so personal that they will remember that gift and not that it's from a store bought that says, well, this is what I got to do. Because this is what society is telling me. Society says this is what I have to do in life, this is what I have to do. And then we wonder why we're in chaos with children, with sexes, with everything, with the word. Just put everything in one. Put everything in one. It doesn't make a difference who you are, what your sex life is, what your religion life is. Put it together as one and then say, I did it for love. And if you could say you did it for love, you could join our army. You can join our army and make it work. I would like you to email me. How many out there would like to join my army? Because believe me, we need all the little workers. We need the soldiers right now to just please one other person or to make a difference in one other person's life. One other person. And I have to thank personally that the one that did it to me. And it turned around about way to get to one person now. It may have to. God works in strange ways, but that one person in my life was Josie. But I had to go through a couple more people to get to her. How would I know that? I didn't know it. But if it touches me, as you know who I am, you know, it can touch you, and it will touch you. And if I can affect one person, all I'm asking of you is with credit. If somebody, your neighbor, your family has a credit problem and you're too embarrassed, you don't have to talk to them. All you have to say is, as my clients do, Call this woman up and she will do the talking. And that's how it works. You know, I will take the time to talk to your mother, your brother, your sister, your father. I will take the time. And you know, there's time zones out there. So as far as California, I take the time. I know, it's 3 o'clock my time in the morning. It's California's another time. I still take the time. And they know it. I have friends in California. And they know it. They always say a person that never sleeps, a city that never sleeps. Well, sometimes I only get a couple hours, but I love it. I still have all the energy in me. I still have all the energy. And I have it for special people. And when I see there's special people in my life, I make it a priority. I do make it a priority. And I say always to them, you are my priority. Well, that's what you do starting tomorrow. You are my priority. And this is what you have to do to make a difference. And all I'm asking of you, if you need to talk to me regarding a credit problem, I want to change the world in 2013. I want to take as many people as possible to save your home, to get that refinance, to do what I have to do. I've already ground on the ground floor with all the mortgage presidents. Right now, they're like, saying, Pearl, whatever you want to do. And I tell them, I'm nasty sometimes, but sometimes you have to be, just to get what you want in your life. So is that bad? No. And if it is bad, I'm still going to do it anyway, because I won't change there either. What I'm asking you is, if you have a credit problem, 1-800-876-CREDIT, go to my website. If you wish to become a sponsor of this show, if you want to become a guest, if you say, which I receive many, many letters I have right here when I came in here, many letters that want to be a guest on the show. And I'm going to read every one of them and I will get back to you. But we're not going to have everybody on as a show. I need shows that are educating the people, helping the people, and letting them get to know who you really are, your heart and your soul. And as I said, I would never have done a show like this in a million years. I didn't think I would, and I am. And I thought this was going to be a tough holiday for me. I really did I thought it was going to be a tough holiday for me, and it's not. It's not, because I'm so blessed right now with people in my life that came into my life. And here I am thinking I'm going to get depressed all over again. No, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate because things happen. And God puts more people in your life that you care for more than you did the other people, believe it or not, but it works. It happens. He does perform miracles. He performed it with me. So when that woman today seeing a big light, if you're looking at me and see a big light around me, well, I'm glad there is a light. Maybe there's an angel around me today. But she said, it's not an aura, it's a light. You're surrounded by light all around you. You're glowing. And I thought, well, if I'm glowing, I better leave because I don't want to be amongst hundreds of people. What I'm trying to say is, this is a holiday. Next week at this time, Christmas will be over. And I'm asking you, there's lots of celebrations out there, but there's not enough love. And there's lots of food, but there's not enough love. So what I'm asking you to do is just think of your neighbor, your friend, whatever. Do what you have to do and make this the most memorable holiday, and make yourself a wish to say to yourself, you know what? My wish for you is I'm going to make this year better than it was last year. And you know what? Nothing's impossible. And I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. And that's what you have to say to yourself. I'm going to make this happen this year. And I've always said nothing's impossible. So don't be depressed this year. Or if you are depressed, pick up the phone. As I always say, pick up the phone. And let's make a change in 2013. Don't worry about the guns. Don't worry about the parents and the kids. Don't worry about copycats. Let's make a difference. And don't worry about your credit cards. That's why I'm here. So let's join my army. Email me. Please email me. Let me know what you feel about this show. If you think it's too much, I don't care. Nothing to lose. So I'm going back to my cocky ways. I don't care. I have nothing to lose. But that's me. I'm going to form this army with you or without you. But we're going to save the world a little bit. We can't affect everybody. But one person contacting another person, and let's make the world go round. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a better place. We don't have to go back to the 60s, 70s, or the 80s, but we will have a better place to live in for next year. I said this was going to be a special show, and it was. You won't hear me talk like this again. And yet, We're going to have some great shows on the Pearl Polto Show. Happy Merry Christmas to everybody out there. I'll see you next week with Joe's. See, she's on my head right now. So she everything she says, I think about. But in the meantime, next week, we have a great show next week. If you want to know why the stars are there and God puts them in your life, it's the astrology, the moon, the sun. And I want to know about this December 21st. Actually, I want to ask her that question. We at the end of the world? Is God telling us where it's over? I don't think so. But let's hear it from her next week. So we got a lot of great shows coming up. I can't wait. I can't wait for my own shows because the guests that I have are really going to be important. But anyway, everybody out there, Merry Christmas and love the one you're with, no matter what. Even if it's your animal, love the one you're with. You're not alone. Love the one you're with. And if you are alone, pick up the phone. This is Pearl Polto, as always, making the most of your credit, giving credit where credit's due. See you next week.
Interest